Hello fellow nerds and crafters, today's video is for the Skull Sunday collab, run by Lula the Nerd Goblin. So today I am taking my smaller skull. Here's a comparison of my larger skull that I usually use. And I'm going with a smaller skull today because I am planning to put a bunch of these orbs that I've made out of UV resin as liquid cores into the top of the skull. So I'm going to fill those with my liquid core solution, and I'm going to put it on an angle and fill it sort of halfway with clear resin so you can see all the liquid cores, and then fill the rest of the skull with color. So starting off with the cores, this is what they look like. I make them out of UV resin and I use these molds here. They're half sphere molds. So you pop the UV resin inside, you put the lid on, it pushes out most of the resin, makes a half sphere, and then you put the two half spheres together. I'm going to use my J. Diction UV resin. And I'm just going to fill these up just over halfway. The reason that I fill them up so much is because it is actually more of a pain in the butt to try to fix holes left over from air pockets than it is just to add a bit too much and let the excess spill out. So once you have enough resin in there, you just push the top on. These ones don't make it click, but they feel like a little click when they're on properly. So once I feel that and it's on, I'm going to wipe off the excess UV resin on the outside just so it doesn't stick to my plate in my UV light. And I'm going to pop that under my UV light for 5 minutes. Once that's done, I'm going to take the lid off and peel away just the extra UV resin around the outside. And then I can pop these ones all out. And that's what these halves look like. And then I'm just going to do that again for all 3 of them to make the other half. Once that's done, these sides don't come out. I'm going to take some UV resin I've put in a cup and a little stick, and I'm going to go around the rim of the ones that are still in the mold, because there is a little lip to them, and I'm just going to put some UV resin on that, and then grab the corresponding other half of the sphere and press it in place, making sure that the 2 halves are touching. And I'm going to use my little UV flashlight here just to do a quick cure so it doesn't drip. And then I'm going to finish off the other 2, same way. And once those are done, they become the sphere from the beginning. So here I have all of these spheres that I did. It has been a while since I did all of these. I started them kind of in between projects. They took a very long time to make. So when mica powder or things that are inside settles, it looks like this. And then you can shake them up and they swirl and they look really cool. This one is the only one that I've used chunkier bits of glitter in, and I will give a little explanation as to why I did that one only in that chunky glitter. Because I started with that one, so I learned a few things. So this one here, I tried another glitter and it didn't work for me. I ended up giving up. It took way too long and it wasn't working. The glitter either floated or sunk and it was sticking to the sides, so I gave up on that one. I went back to mica powder, and this is the last one I have to make, so I'm going to do it in this metallic mica powder. You're going to need distilled water, some vegetable glycerin, and some isopropyl alcohol. This is actually 99%, not 70%, in the spray bottle. So here's my completed sphere. I've also drilled a hole into it so that I can get my pipette filled with the liquid in it. I'm going to say right now, this is not the best way to do liquid cores, unless you're just doing the one. These are glass balls that most people, when they make liquid cores, use. I thought that I would try making my own because I didn't want to waste my glass ones, but the glass ones are far superior. They only have one spot that you need to close up, the top of it, and the rest of it is glass, so it is much better. I decided I wanted different sizes, so I tried to make my own. It's just way harder. When I drilled the hole into it, it ended up being a lot of cleanup. So for this liquid core, this is the same way I did the rest of them. I'm going to put in a little bit of mica powder, and then I'm going to take my distilled water, a pipette full, and then half a pipette full of my isopropyl alcohol. That will keep the water from getting murky and dirty and foggy. And then I'm just going to stir that up a little bit. And then I'm going to add my vegetable glycerin. So the glycerin helps the micas swirl for longer because they will settle. So I don't have an exact amount for any of these. I just kind of put a little bit of everything in. There's probably a better way, but that's how I decided to do it. The more glycerin, the thicker the sort of water is, and so the more things will float in there instead of falling to the bottom. And then, because it will inevitably sink to the bottom, I'm going to add a little bit of this green alcohol ink so that the color has a little bit of color, or so the water has a little bit of color in it when the mica does drop. Also, this was the first one I did with metallic powder, and I noticed that the metallic kind of sat on top of the water. You can see here that the metallic bits are just sort of floating along the top of it. So once I'm happy with the mix, I'm going to suck up some of it with the pipette. Put the tip of the pipette into the ball, squeeze it in, fill it up. And I left a little bit of room for an air bubble to help with mixing up the mica and everything inside when it gets shaken up. So the next part you have to do pretty fast, so I'm going to grab my UV flashlight here, and I'm going to turn it on ahead of time and place it down and grab my UV resin. And I'm going to do a swirl around it and then quickly overlap the hole and grab my flashlight as quick as possible and get that set so it doesn't drip straight down the hole. Once that is set a little bit, I'm going to put it in my big light and leave that for 5 minutes under the UV. So while that's sitting, I wanted to give you a closer look at some of these. This one's the chunkier glitter. I did this one first and it took a very long time because the glitters kept sinking and I had to keep adding glycerin to try and get them to float. And then this one here has mylar flakes in it and some mica powder to give it a sheen. I'm not sure how well those move around either. It's kind of a balancing act with the glycerin and stuff. This one here is just a really pretty blue mica, but I think I left too big of a bubble in there for air. I really like these three though, they're my favorite. Here we are with all of them ready to go, and I'm just going to start placing them in there and try to get them in the spots that I want them to hopefully stay. I want to spread them out a bit. I've got a couple of really small ones, so those will probably fit somewhere closer to the bottom. And once I have them sort of placed where I want to go, I'm taking my egg carton and just trying to prop it up so that I can fill it halfway. And once I do have that ready, I will grab my resin that I've mixed up, and this is just clear resin. It's just got a lot of bubbles in it. So I'm pouring that in. And I'm just going to stop kind of halfway and push the liquid cores around a little bit just in case there's any trap bubbles underneath. And then I'm going to finish filling it up halfway with the clear resin. I was a little bit worried at this point because you'll be able to see some of the liquid cores are starting to float, probably because of the air bubble in them. And then there's also some larger bubbles coming up from the bottom. So I was worried that maybe I hadn't sealed all the liquid cores fully, but all I could do was put this in the pressure pot and wait to see what happens. So this is the next day. I have my colors ready. I'm going to use the Black Friday, Cyber Monday Serene Sea. I think this was a free one I got on Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Serene Sea, and I'm having focusing issues again. I'm also outside in this part of the video because my room that I craft in is being used by my ants to sleep in. I also have bright yellow, and so I'm outside in the sun. I thought it was too hard for me to see my camera, honestly. So this came out nicer looking than I had expected, which is a nice surprise. I'm just going to swirl the colors together. I'm not adding glue or anything. If I did add glue, they probably would have stayed more separated. I assume that they're mostly going to mix into a green color, but my mom picked these colors and I didn't want to add glue because I just want to see what would happen. So once I have those all put in there and that's mostly filled, I'm going to move it over to the pressure pot. And here we are the next day. I am in another new location with some lights now because it was too bright outside for me to see and bugs kept landing in my resin. So I'm inside again in the garage with lights, so hopefully the quality is going to be okay. As I thought, the color is mostly mixed into a green, but it looks pretty cool still. There are still some spots of blue and some spots of the yellow. And I can see some movement in my liquid cores, so it means that the epoxy resin did not go all up inside the liquid cores and make them all hard, so that's good news. I did notice some of these crazy looking divots on some of my liquid cores, which again doesn't happen with the glass liquid core containers, so that's another reason to use the glass ones instead. So this is what it's looking like all the way around. Everything's been settled for a while except for my demold, so they're mostly settled. Mica's kind of in the bottom, and then I just shake them up a bit. And there you can see some movement of the micas. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Check out my playlist in my description box for the other videos in the collab. Here are some close-up video and pictures of the finished piece. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!
Laughs when they come alive. She'll craft up a quest for us and pull me in for the ride. She tries the dose, she tries the dome, she pushes close, then lets it go. Roll a double, rewind to the start. Roll a double, nerdy chaos, big heart. Every pore's an adventure with you. Every night feels brand new. To the start. She says, hold still, don't blink with yarn.